Hi, I'm Erica, a mom, wife, and caregiver. I have been through the highs and lows of having a child with a medically complex background and special needs, all caused by epilepsy. I'm here to let you know you're not alone. There are so many resources out there, and that you too can and will come out on the other side stronger and more resilient than you ever imagined. It's not always easy, but I'm here for you. Welcome to the Parenting Epilepsy and Special Needs podcast. Welcome back. All right. It is spring, at least at the time of recording this. And I can remember a time when every spring, or at least probably March, April, and even May, I would get this like PTSD, um, anxiety type feeling. And not so much anymore. I've gotten a lot better, but just I just did not look forward to the IEP process, the meetings. And it's not that I do want to say my daughter was doing well. It was more of I think just kind of like the process and the different things, like the boxes almost that we have to check during an annual review meeting can be stressful. And I do have to say, like I mentioned, it's gotten better. I never I guess you could say I never let my guard down just because I know things can change. But at the same time, I'm very grateful when we have a great team in place like we do right now. However, we did go through some very stressful times when our daughter was much younger. She's almost 13 now, but way back when, which feels like yesterday, when she was transitioning from preschool onto kindergarten, there was a lot that we had to learn and that we had never experienced before. So, I'm going to talk about that today because I feel it's very important whether your child has special needs, if they have epilepsy and any other medical diagnosis, it's important to be aware, at least this was our experience. I realize that it can be different, and I'll mention that in this podcast, but I realize it can be different based on your school, based on the type of school your child's in, and then also even from state to state if you're in the United States. And then I'm sure it could possibly even be different globally. So I want to share our experience just in the hopes that I can help others feel more empowered and more prepared, especially during this crucial point of setting the stage for your child for success and ensuring that they have everything that they need to just to be the best that they can be as they start their elementary school career. So, probably already saw the title is Preparing for Kindergarten with an IEP, Our Experience. I remember the spring before our daughter transitioned to kindergarten like it was yesterday, despite the fact that I know for a fact my brain tries to block that period of stress and anxiety out. Our daughter was in her third year of preschool. As I mentioned, so she had started 3-year-old preschool. She did 4-year-old preschool, but missed half the year because of her hemispherectomy. So we decided to hold her back a year, let her do a full year of preschool, and continue to recover from her surgery. And just kind of see how she did and then worry about kindergarten the following year. So by that spring, she was 1 year post her hemispherectomy surgery. Unfortunately for us, she was still experiencing seizures at that time. And not just unfortunately for us, but unfortunately for her. But she was still fighting through, working hard, both in school and in therapy. Thankfully, prior to this spring, I was involved in a session about planning for an annual review slash IEP during the Pediatric Epilepsy Surgery Alliance family conference. And little did I know how much this session would help me during this transition. I can recall hearing about the importance of reading through the entire IEP document, going through and either highlighting or making notes related to any of the following. There's a few. Questioning if a goal or a goal update was not thorough or easy to understand. Questioning if a present level listed was not accurate or included vague information that wasn't helpful towards setting meaningful goals, such as talking about my daughter's nice personality. Questioning if there was information copy and pasted with another student's medical information, not their name, or their doctor's info. Yes, I can attest this has happened, and I've got it corrected. But um, questioning if goals were too easy or too difficult, or not a skill that I felt was necessary for her to keep working on. Questioning if there was sufficient data or enough data, and also if the data was complete and not in academia jargon that made no sense to me. Also, questioning if my daughter did not have enough accommodations and supports listed as a result of having a hemispherectomy to help her have the best chance of success in kindergarten. This list went on, and there were a ton of things that the Pediatric Epilepsy Surgery Alliance recommended to look for. And this is all, again, it's not to call out your child's team or question what they're proposing that your child should do, but it's all doing this so that you're setting your child up to have the best year ahead and work on meaningful goals that will be helpful to them long term. But you probably get the point. Read the full IEP document front to back. I cannot believe this, but not all parents do. I've had parents say to me, "I just go to the meeting and listen to what they have to say. I just assume that they're doing what's best for my child." And while that's um, wishful thinking, I mean, you have to think of it as a lot of our schools, and again, I'm located in the Midwest, um, are understaffed, overworked, underpaid. And I mean, I'm sorry, but like, I know that they have a lot on their plate and I feel for them. But I also realize that it's my job to participate, um, ensure that everything is accurate and that the work being done is truly necessary to helping my child succeed and progress. So the bottom line is you are doing your child a disservice by not reading the full document and then furthermore preparing questions for your child's teachers and therapists. So during this session, during the family conference, I took a ton of notes and I knew that this information would come in handy down the road. Feel free. In fact, I highly encourage you, especially if your child is looking to have a hemispherectomy or some type of pediatric brain surgery, or already has, and they haven't started school yet, feel free to visit the Pediatric Epilepsy Surgery Alliance website and search for IEPs after epilepsy surgery under the resources tab. I'll also put a link in the show notes. There is a wealth of information there. So, anyways, back to my story. So here we are, January 2019. I was informed during what's called a domain meeting. It's a part of the IEP process that A variety of evaluations would be completed to determine what services and accommodations our daughter would be eligible for going into kindergarten. What our school and many other schools are also looking at is placement. So that's basically what type of classroom your child would be in. If and I know in some situations it's a completely different school, but that's also a very important area of discussion during the official IEP and or annual review meeting. However, I do want to mention, as I've said earlier, each state and each school district may approach this topic slightly differently depending on their special education program, funding, staffing, and a variety of other variables. Our story relates to how our school district specifically navigates this process, and I realize not all school districts may do this the same way. So I want to be sure to call out that disclaimer. After the domain meeting, I received a phone call from our daughter's preschool teacher at that time. And she was basically calling to tell me that the team was going to be recommending that our daughter be placed in a self contained classroom at a school that was located in our school district, but was 20 minutes away from our home. I have to note, we have a school in our neighborhood where our other children went, and it's literally 2 minutes away. So I just remember saying, that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? We have a school in our neighborhood with children that our daughter has grown up with. And I could immediately sense that because of our daughter's diagnosis and complex medical background, that our daughter's team and our school team and school district felt that it just made sense to put her in a class with other children who fell into the category of having other complex medical diagnosis or special needs or other disabilities. Now, I know that many parents, both locally and around the world, have been through this. You, as the parent, work so hard to get your child's seizures to stop, at least in our case. You go through a life altering surgery. Your child is still seizing. And now you come to the realization that you will need to work extra hard and possibly fight just for your child to be put in a typical general education classroom for kindergarten. Fun stuff. And I think a lot of us know how this goes and the struggles that some of us face. Knowing that we had this ahead of us, we knew that we needed guidance and additional support. A friend referred us to a special education advocate. We hired the advocate to help review all IEP documents and evaluation results, and to also help us prepare for the upcoming IEP meeting. After many conversations, prep, and sleepless nights, it was now May and time for our daughter's annual review IEP meeting. We had all of our reasoning documented why we felt that she should be at least given a chance to start kindergarten in a general education classroom with her typical developing peers in the neighborhood that she lived in and grew up in thus far. We submitted our parental concerns letter. If you do not know what that is, that's also a part of the IEP process, and I would definitely recommend just Googling IEP parental concerns letter for more info. And we were ready to have an in depth conversation around what we truly believed in our hearts was the best for her at that specific time in her life. We got to the school, walked into the meeting room. Our daughter has a classroom teacher, approximately 5 therapists, and then there were other people in attendance that also included the school principal for the preschool program, school psychologists who conducted a few of the evals for that year, the school principal for our homeschool, the special education resource teacher, also from our homeschool, and a kindergarten teacher who was also from our homeschool. So, just because of the nature of our daughter's medical background and the different therapies that she requires, her IEP meetings generally have anywhere from 8 to 10 people at least. So we've gotten used to this over the years. These meetings usually start by reviewing any questions that we have as the parents, going over any eval results, and of course, the old pro and con list, also known as areas of strength and areas of growth. Again, this is a common part, at least for us in our area, of the IEP annual review meeting. I do also want to note that the goal of these meetings, and specifically when talking about placement, is to have the child that's being discussed placed in the LRE. LRE stands for the least restrictive environment. So, after much discussion and conversation and back and forth, the preschool team was insisting still that our daughter should be placed in a self-contained classroom. We explained that while our daughter was still having seizures, that she was only 5 years old, about to turn 6 by the fall. She was still so young and still developing, still learning, and we were still working on, and still are to this day, working towards efforts to stop or minimize her seizures. Finally, and I will never forget this, after what felt like 3 hours of sitting in this meeting, might have been 2, I don't remember, our advocate said to our homeschool team and asked them what their thoughts would be. Would they be comfortable? Do they agree that it made sense to, based on everything that we had talked about, to support her with a special education resource, teacher, and supports, and with a one-to-one para aide from within a typical general education classroom in our homeschool? They agreed and said yes. We were overwhelmed with joy. All of our late night discussions, planning, and hard work and research was worth it. Our girl would be going to kindergarten with other kids from our neighborhood and would be in class with them, all while receiving push in and pull out minutes as listed in her IEP to work with her special education teacher on her specific academic goals and working with her therapist on her various therapies. What we learned from this experience: review your child's IEP line by line, page by page. If you do not agree with something, say something and make a list of all of your questions and be sure to get them answered. I can't say it enough. You are a part of your child's IEP team. Remember that. If members of your child's school team are strongly suggesting that your child should go to a specific program, classroom, or school, and you do not agree with it, educate yourself on the rights within the IEP and the special education process. And if possible, hire an advocate. It's overwhelming, and it really helps to have someone who specializes specifically in this area to help you through it. Kindergarten started and it was absolutely amazing. Amazing teacher, amazing one-to-one aide that stayed with her throughout her day, a great class of students who were kind, compassionate, and curious, but also saw their friend as just another kid who was just like them, and they enjoyed learning about her and understanding how to interact with her. It was perfect. Then COVID happened, and that is where I will stop for today's episode. So, in closing, thank you for being here and for listening. I am so proud of you. I am here for you, and I know that you are doing the best with everything on your plate. Until next time, stay strong, believe in yourself. You're an amazing mama, and your child is lucky to have you. Please share this episode with someone you think could benefit from hearing it. Don't forget to write a review or rate this episode. It means so much to me, and it helps get this show out to others who need this information. You can follow me on Instagram at parentingepilepsy_special needs. We'll see you on the next episode.